Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another AFC World Cup qualifying prediction video. This time, we're going to be covering Group A in the October qualifying window. Guys, as I go through these games one by one, please let me know how you see them playing out down below in the comments. Smash the like button if you could, and most importantly, hit subscribe if you want more Asian footy content here on YouTube. I'm going to be doing at least one live stream for the October qualifiers. Which game? I'm not sure. You're just gonna have to follow us on social media. The link is in the description. Let's kick it off with Iran versus Uzbekistan. Yep, that's right. We're getting straight into it. We're going straight to the heaviest hitting fixture from this window. Now, I can already hear some of y'all in the comments saying, Jack, this is why Asian football is finished. I'm tired of seeing Iran play Uzbekistan. This game is so boring. They were in the same round of qualifying in round 2. I don't give a bro. Give me as many fixtures between these two Central Asian powerhouses as possible. I'm ready for round 5, bro. I want all the smoke. And honestly, I think based on what happened recently, Iran probably want the smoke too. As I alluded to, this will be the 4th competitive meeting between Iran and Uzbekistan since 2023. So these guys are getting really familiar with each other. The last 2 meetings in this fixture, the last 2 meetings in round 2 of qualifying, were both draws, and the one in Tashkent was a 2-2 comeback from the Uzbeks, which was probably one of my most exciting games from that round of qualifying. Now, Iran are one of the few teams to go to Tashkent recently and beat the White Wolves, and that victory came in the Kafa Cup final. It was a 1-0 victory. I believe Sardar Azmoun scored the winner. It might have been Taremi in that game, but I digress. These matches have been incredibly competitive lately, and I do not think that now that we're in round 3, we're going to see anything different. Now, can the Uzbeks finally get revenge against Iran and pick up only their 2nd ever victory against the Persians in the history of this fixture? I'm going to say yes. I think there are so many things to like about this fixture, namely from the Uzbek side. You can genuinely say, maybe for the first time since Qatar became the manager, that they have called up their 100% full strength squad. This is not the Uzbek Asian Cup squad where damn near 5 of their best players were out with injuries and illness. Like, every single Uzbek big gun is showing up to this game. And personally, I'm very excited to see Taremi versus Shomurodov. I mean, we're talking about 2 of the top 4 inarguably strikers in Asia going at it, and I think there's a lot of line for those 2 gentlemen personally to kind of take that best striker in Asia crown. I think Taremi has the crown, but I don't think it's as much of a vice grip as many people in Deadball TV apparently think so. Now, looking at some of the stats, these 2 teams know how to pop off. Uzbekistan had 30 shots in match day 1 and 2. Iran had 32, which I believe both of those were top 5 for all teams involved. The only difference, major difference here, Uzbekistan, 43% of their shots land on target. Iran, only 19%. So Iran, they kind of shooting blanks right now is basically what I'm saying. That 19% shot on target rate, fun fact, is the 2nd lowest of all teams in round 3. Only better than, can you guess? Can you guess who it is? That's right, the Chinese national team. When it comes to big chances, Uzbekistan are finishing 80% of those chances. They went 4 for 5. Iran, just 20%. And I know the stats, right? I mean, football's not played on paper, but I just want to highlight that because it's one of my bigger arguments for why I think the Uzbeks are going to get a result here. They're coming in firing. They're thirsty for that statement win. I still don't think Qatar has really that mind-boggling win that cements him as the GOAT Uzbek manager. I think he's got some good results, but most of those are draws. I'm thinking like Australia, Iran twice, Mexico, but he still doesn't have that, like, I took down a superpower. And I think the Uzbeks, of course, they're conscious of the fact they haven't beaten a superpower yet. And I think they really, really want to, and I think they're going to get it done, I have to say. And the fact that Iran, they're just very wasteful. That, of course, might not continue in match day 3 and 4, but they're going to live and die by Taremi. And unfortunately, they're going to live and die by Azmoun, and he's even more inaccurate than Taremi lately. So that's why I'm going to give the edge to the Uzbeks. I'm going to go 2-1 win for Uzbekistan, and I think that's pretty goddamn hot. And some people will say that's not a hot take. I would encourage you, anyone who has that opinion, to please look at Iran's qualifying record and tell me that this ain't a hot take. I mean, the Iranians do not lose in World Cup qualifying. I forgot what the stat was. I think it's like 5 losses in the last 3 cycles or 4 cycles or something like that. Like, these guys are the undead. But I think the Uzbeks, given how the trend looks for both of these national teams, I'm not gonna predict another draw. I mean, I think the draw is the safe money, right? Safe money. We're looking at another 1-1, but I'm gonna be a little ballsy here and I'm gonna say 2-1 Uzbekistan. You guys let me know down below in the comments. This is my favorite for the live stream that I'm gonna be doing. So again, just make sure you hit subscribe, follow us on Instagram, stay tuned. Next up, we have Qatar versus Kyrgyzstan in Al Rayyan, Qatar, and I gotta say, Qatar, bro, y'all some lucky motherfuckers. Like, you could not have orchestrated and curated an easier start to World Cup qualifying, or World Cup qualifying round 2, I might add, than what the Qataris have experienced. I mean, these guys are the most blessed national team in the world, hands down. You look at their run at the Asian Cup, you look at their group at the Asian Cup, you look at their group in round 2, you look at their opportunities at least in round 3, which they are slowly fumbling, and you gotta say, bro, I mean, like, luck is not evenly applied throughout the footballing world. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, because if this is an away leg in Bishkek right now, given how Qatar looked in the last round, and honestly, given how Kyrgyzstan looked, this is certified L for Qatar, but they're going to get another chance through the grace of God to turn around their qualifying campaign and get a dub in this match. And you have to say, regardless of how awful the defense is and how the midfield is, Qatar is still the favorites, and I would say big favorites in this game to get a result at home. Now, the UAE game, that was a disaster class in how to defend a lead, quite frankly, and how to play football in the second half. I mean, they basically just surrendered and gave up to their arch rival. I don't think that's going to happen again. I think Qatar, with this game against Kyrgyzstan at home, I mean, it honestly is a must-win. This is a must-win game if they want to go to the World Cup. I don't think they're going to F around. I think they're going to show up, probably put in their best performance of qualifying so far, and try to at least stay competitive in the race for a top 2 qualifying spot. Because right now, even that round 4 looks like it's in jeopardy for Qatar. Now, for the Kyrgyz, I'm not sure how you say the plural of the ethnicity for people from the Kyrgyz Republic. Somebody let me know in the comments, please, so I look less ignorant in these videos. They are also chasing round 4. Despite losing both games in match day 1 and 2, they're still chasing round 4. So this is a must-win game for them as well. I actually think it's going to be very, very exciting. Now, I do think Kyrgyzstan put in their best performances that I've maybe ever seen in match day 1 and 2, but let's not ignore the fact that this team is still pretty ass cheeks away from home. I mean, I'm looking at their away wins. Their best and only away wins in the last 4 years: Singapore, Kuwait, and Taiwan. And Taiwan was the only true away game. I think they beat Singapore and Kuwait in neutral venues. So if your only away win in 4 years in a competitive match, or damn near actually even friendlies, is Taiwan, I mean, you in big trouble. So that's why I just don't think Qatar are going to fumble this. If they do, then the Asian Cup might be a certified fluke. I'm just going to say that. Like, I don't know what else we can take away from the Asian Cup if Kyrgyzstan comes here and gets a result. Now, defensively, both of these teams, not good. And that's why I think Kyrgyzstan is going to score. There's no way that this game ends 0-0 or like 1-0 or something like that. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout. Qatar, in the last 10 games, only have 3 clean sheets. That in itself is pretty bad. Kyrgyzstan said, hold my vodka, or whatever they drink in the Kyrgyz Republic, and have 2 clean sheets in the last 10. So even more diabolical. We're talking 5 clean sheets combined in the last 20 games from these 2 teams. So you know we're going to get goals, and I think we saw a little bit of sauce from the Kyrgyz attack, especially in that Uzbek game. And we know the firepower that Qatar have. And that's why I'm going to lean Qatar in this game. I have Qatar winning 2-1. I think in an offensively inclined match, which is what I'm predicting this is going to be, I do not think the Kyrgyz Republic is just going to park the bus. You have to go with which team has the better offensive players, and that is Qatar with Akram Afif, namely, and Almoez Ali. Akram Afif, I think, it's tough to call him the most underrated player in Asia because he's won individual awards and has won 2 Asian Cups. But if there's a guy, you're talking star power, you're talking the ability to influence a match single-handedly. Akram Afif has that to a level that I'm talking maybe like Lee Gang-in. I don't even know if I don't even think Kubo has a game-changing ability like that. Maybe Musa Altamari for Jordan. That might actually be it. If we're just talking like these guys are unplayable, that might actually be the list in Asia. So whenever you have a Afif, you got a chance, and that's why I think Qatar is going to win this one 2-1 because yeah, they just have the better offensive players. Fun fact before I move on, Qatar had the most fouls in match day 1 and 2 of any team in round 3. They had 30 fouls committed, and Kyrgyzstan had the fewest, 9 fouls. 9 fouls in 2 games, including a Central Asian derby. That's kind of surprising. I think the Kyrgyz Republic need to get a little more physical in this one, or they might get ran over 3-1, but I'm sticking with the 2-1 scoreline. Next up, let's go to UAE versus North Korea in the UAE, and this match is incredible, bro. But Lord Almighty, were the predictions tough for this? So Godspeed to myself, if I'm allowed to say that. If anybody predicts this match correctly, like, buy a lottery ticket, because I really don't know what's going to happen. These two teams haven't played each other since 2011. UAE played 45 minutes of what I would describe as scintillating football in the last window, being the second half of the Qatar match. In North Korea, probably had 90 minutes of great football, 45 of which they played a man down. So they were the better team against Uzbekistan in the second half, and they were the better team against Qatar despite being a man down for parts of the game. So that's why I don't know what the hell's going to happen, right? Like, this could be game of the window. Like, obviously, Iran-Uzbekistan, that's the Hollywood matchup. But if we're talking just pure tech and unpredictability and madness, I think UAE-North Korea is the match. You guys let me know if you disagree. There's a better window here, or a better game, I should say, down below in the comments. I mean, even statistically, I looked at everything. Dead even. These teams are dead even in every single metric. And personnel-wise, who has the advantage? Can you genuinely say the UAE has a much better team or even a better team than North Korea based on what we've seen during qualifying so far? I don't think you can say that. Maybe if you're like a club football AFC Champions League merchant, you'll say the UAE is objectively better, but based on what we've seen from them under Paulo Bento, I don't think you can say that. If you want to edge UAE, sure, I will grant you that. But to say there's like a clear gulf in talent, I disagree, man. And I think the North Korean results disagree. Now, let me try to make the bull case for UAE real quick. They're playing at home, which is always important in Asia. Harib Sukhail has been borderline unplayable in match day 1 and 2. I thought he was a menace, so they're going to lean on him a lot. He's probably the best individual player going into this game. And honestly, what else? What else is the bull case for UAE? If you're an Emirati, please let me know in the comments. Like, why do you think you're going to win this game? Because, I don't know. You beat Qatar away last time, so you're feeling good. But then you lost to Iran at home and pretty decisively. So, I don't know what the bull case is for UAE. That's kind of it. The bull case for North Korea is the UAE have already dropped points at home against Bahrain, Iran, and Oman recently, and 2 of those teams are not very good. The North Koreans are dogs. They play ball. They have tech. They are more accustomed to playing away from home because they can't even play their own games in Pyongyang, and they do not fear death. So I think for those reasons, I'm going to be a psychopath here, and I'm going to lean on my dark horse pick and go for the shocks, because that's really why you guys watch Deadball TV. And I think North Korea win this game. I have no idea what the score is going to be. It could be 2-1, 1-0. Could be a 2-2 draw, and just incredibly exciting. But I'm going to say the North Koreans get the result in this one, because I need to see a little bit more from UAE. I've been saying that since Paulo Bento was appointed, and I still need to see more from UAE. Like, I think the Qatar victory looks better if Qatar mollywopped North Korea afterwards, but they didn't. They couldn't even beat 10 men, North Korea. So now Paulo Bento, he's not on fraud watch, but you're not off fraud watch is basically what I'm saying. So that's match day 3. Let's move on to match day 4. Uzbekistan versus UAE in Tashkent. That sounds a bit weird that the Uzbeks have a doubleheader at home, but I'm just going to roll with it because UAE can't. Either, somebody's got a doubleheader at home. It's either the Uzbeks or the Emiratis. So I guess it's the Uzbeks in this case. UAE historically have been pretty dominant in this fixture. They've only lost to the Uzbeks a single time ever, which is kind of crazy. Both Iran and UAE have only lost to Uzbekistan one time. So if you're like a history merchant, you're saying that the Uzbeks are finished going into this window because you're like, they can't get the dubs here. But I think the current balance of power does favor Uzbekistan. The last meeting between these sides was in 2020. It was a friendly, and Uzbekistan did win that game 2-1. So the last match between these two sides, the Uzbeks got the better hand. Will that ride into this game? Not at all. That was 4 years ago, but I think that's just a good data point to show how strong this current Uzbek side is and where they rank in the power balance of Asian football. Simply put, I do not see Katanich losing this game. I don't even see Uzbekistan dropping points. It could be an incredibly boring game. It could be a 1-0 Shomurodov pen. Like, that is more than possible in this game. But I don't really see a shootout. And I don't see a shootout because I think the UAE's defensive record is actually quite good if you look at it. And I think the UAE attack, guys like Sukhail and their wingers versus the Uzbek back line, I don't see the UAE getting more than 1 goal max there. So I kind of see the Uzbeks getting like max 2 goals, but probably 1. And I see UAE getting max 1 goal, probably 0. So I do think at the end of the day, it's going to be an Uzbek 1-0 victory. But this will be interesting because the UAE's defensive record might be a bit flattering in the sense that they've played some awful teams. But if you look at their last 10, I think they've only conceded 2 goals or more in a game, like twice, maybe once. And that's going back to Iran at the Asian Cup. So is UAE actually good defensively? I mean, they do have a very good goalkeeper, or have they just been playing some offensively dead teams and Iran who cannot shoot to save their lives? Comment down below. I don't know. We're about to have that question answered. I am fascinated to see the midfield battle here, though. I think that's going to be the most exciting part of this match. Guys like Nader, Al-Zabi, and Hamad for UAE versus Shukurov, Kamrabekov, and Shomaripov. That's going to be beast mode. I think the Uzbeks win that little kind of mini battle on the pitch. They're also playing at Tashkent. I think they get a victory here that's probably not going to be that interesting to watch. But at the end of the day, I do see the White Wolves getting another 3 points and walking away from 6 in this window. Am I an Uzbek simp? I think I am. I'm ready to say that officially. Moving on to Kyrgyzstan versus North Korea in Bishkek. Now, I think I said that UAE North Korea might be game of the window. Nah, bro. Kyrgyzstan, North Korea, and Bishkek. This might be the game of the window across all groups. Like, this has the potential to be a 4-4 draw. Like, I'm not even kidding. Can anybody stop anyone in this game? I don't know. We're about to find out. I just know that the Kyrgyz going to come out and ball because that's how they do in Bishkek. And the North Koreans going to come out and ball because ball is all they know. Ball is life to the North Korean national team. What does that result in? I have no idea. This is only the second time these teams have ever played each other. The last time was in 2010, so the result is, completely irrelevant. I think that North Korea offensively are slightly better as a unit, and certainly if we're talking like set piece lethality, I mean, just look at the Qatar match, man. The North Koreans, they got some ballistic missiles back there. So I am going to edge North Korea from an offensive standpoint, but I think the Kyrgyz really impressed me. They really impressed me in the last match. The key for Kyrgyzstan, in my opinion, you have to be physical because the North Koreans are very physical. You're playing at home. You cannot get pushed around. I want to see more fouls and yellow cards from the Kyrgyz Republic. I already said earlier that the Kyrgyz Republic had the least amount of fouls in match day 1 and 2. They only had 9. North Korea had 28, which is 4th best in Asia. I mean, we know that's part of their game plan, right? So the Kyrgyz Republic, I don't know if they need to do like a group yoga session before the game, maybe some like visualization exercises, but you gotta be ready for that match, or the North Koreans, they're gonna run over you, bro. They really are. I'm kind of feeling a draw in this game. A win would be insane for either side. Like, if North Korea beat the Kyrgyz Republic away, bro, I might have to cop a kid. I might have to buy a jersey. How I'm going to do that, I'm probably gonna have to call Kim Jong-un directly and get it shipped to Buenos Aires. And I don't know if a package has ever been sent from North Korea to Argentina. I might be making history if that happens. So for that sake, I hope North Korea wins. But I'm kind of feeling a 1-1 draw here. Which doesn't make any sense because I said this could be game of the window. So now I've completely made myself look like a fool, probably for like the third time in this video. I'm going to say draw, but I'm going to maintain we could be looking at a 3-3. Like, we could look at that 3-2 game versus Uzbekistan and match day 2 and say, step aside. Step aside, son. We got a 4-3 for you right here. Could be incredible. Now that I've hyped it up this much, it will likely be a 0-0 draw. And everybody's going to be very upset at me for predicting it was going to be so exciting. Am I a North Korean simp? I'm already an Uzbek simp. Been a Japanese simp my whole life. Am I approaching North Korean simp status? I think I am. Because I have to lean North Korea in this game. It must be said. I apologize to our Kyrgyz fans. But I have to lean North Korea because these guys, again, they do not fear death. And I think that's the biggest edge they have is a mental one, on top of just being an incredibly underrated national team. So I got to know y'all's predictions for the Kyrgyz Republic, North Korea, because, yeah, this one's tough. This one's really, really tough. And lastly, Iran versus Qatar and Mashhad, Iran. Now is the time for Iran to extract their Asian Cup revenge for the semifinal. I'm going to try to remain calm as I describe this fixture because I think this has the potential to be an absolute massacre. And if Iran were not so awful at finishing chances, I think they would genuinely win this game 4-0. Like, I think Iran wants to kill Qatar, and I think they will kill Qatar from a performance standpoint. Like, I think they're going to massacre them. But do they score the goals? You know, I do think he will step up, and I do think that guy is certainly a player that carries the chip on his shoulder. I think he's very hyper aware of everything said about him and the Iranian national team. And so I think he will have, white or what would I say, bloodshot eyes in this match. It all depends on how the rest of the team plays. How does Goldos look? Jakambash, does he do anything? Azmoud, is he finished, or does he put in a vintage performance? If we even get an 80% Iran, but with the extra motivation that they have, I think they're going to win this one like 3-0. Also, looking at how bad Qatar have looked defensively. And they have been woeful defensively. Like Iran, they've played Kyrgyzstan and UAE. And I think Kyrgyzstan especially were pretty defensively sound, right? They looked pretty sharp in the back. They didn't concede a ton of massive chances to Iran. Qatar's defense, not on that level right now. I do think it's worse than both the UAE and Kyrgyzstan. So what happens when a high shot volume, high wasting, motivated team meets a perhaps complacent but desperate team that's dangerous offensively but kind of dead at the back? I think it results in a lot of goals. I'm going to say, not knowing anything about the condition of the Iranian pitch, because how the Iranian government operates, this could be played on a dirt field. I don't know what it's going to look like. It might be played like on a basketball court. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm going to say this is a 3-1 Iran. I think it's going to be a 3-1 Iran. I'm going to give the Qataris a goal here out of respect for Akram Afif. And that is it. And for their perhaps fraudulent back-to-back AFC Cup titles. If Qatar get a draw in this game, that will be beyond massive. And just be shocking given how they've looked. The reason that my prediction might completely fold is that Iran and 3 goals in a game, that doesn't really happen. Especially not in round 3. Like, Iran are kind of 1-0 merchants. But I'm going for the hate factor. The revenge and the hate factor. I think that gets you at least 1 goal. So I'm going to be a little adventurous here, and I'm going to stick to the 3-1, even though something like a 2-0 is probably more realistic. But I think my GD would still be the same there, so I don't really care. But yeah, I think the Iranians, they get revenge, but I do think that they walk away from this window with 3 points. So that's the video, guys. You let me know what you think down below in the comments. I went a little hot, didn't I, with some of these predictions, so could end up being a disaster for me. But you're just going to have to wait and see for my reactions and takeaways, which will be posted, and will probably be 5 different content pieces here on the channel to see how I did. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop it a like, hit subscribe again so you don't miss the live streams and all of the post World Cup qualifying content that we're going to be dropping here on Deadball TV, including a couple collabs. Follow us on Instagram. Please do. Link in the description, because I like to post polls there, and I will be posting more Asian content on Instagram as well. And yeah, that way you guys won't miss anything Asian related here on Deadball TV. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you back here on the channel for groups B and C coming soon.